It's done now. Time to turn the key and see how it get on. Okay, so welcome back to the channel. I have to say, I have been enjoying the Wimpy gym as of yet. Getting pumped. No more spaghetti arms. I might have to write that in my book. Get rid of spaghetti arms. Anyway, as you may have seen on the previous video regarding the Wimpy wagon, it's been doing a bit of legwork. It's been to Paris and back, it's been to the Alps and back. It drank a bit, but there was another issue. Could be quite a major one. I did change the back tyres and had the alignment done. Now, after that, I did notice that there was an issue, vibration issues. Now, normally having an alignment done would cure vibration issues. Normally that's kind of the first port of call, so why could possibly suddenly I have an issue after doing so? And to find out, I'm actually going to lower the car and make it look more gangster. Makes sense, right? Okay, so yes, it is snowing, but I am not to be deterred today because we all know what happened last time. Right, before we do any work on suspension, we just need to tell the car first. It's pretty easy. So, wrong side again. Right, let's see if we can get this right. Press and hold on this. And yeah, the message appears saying regulation switched off. That's about all we need to do. Now what that does, it should stop the car from trying to self-regulate itself as I'm obviously moving the car up and down. It won't be trying to compensate for it. Now we are good to start jacking it up. Remember when I said I stopped at the auto parts shop and I was buying myself an early Christmas present? That was that meaty jack. I needed it. My old one, that was crap. Lowering of the car is relatively straightforward. Now, the lowering of a car with air suspension can be done by a little bit of trickery. Basically, the onboard computer obviously regulates the height of the car based on the information it's getting. So all we're doing is basically tricking the car and giving it some false information. And to do that, you just need to change out one of the link arms that controls basically the sort of moderator. There's probably a better word for that, but that's all I've got for the minute. So I'll show you what kind of, if I can, there's that little link arm. That's what we're aiming for. Not sure if you can see it right, but just behind that little sort of flap is the link arms that we're going to be changing. Now, by extending the link arm, effectively the car thinks it's actually sitting higher than it is, so it regulates it by dropping the car. Am I making any sense? I hope so. Anyway, by obviously going around all the four corners and then changing the links, it also allows me to have a really good look at all the suspension components and perhaps see where the vibration is coming from, because I have previously looked underneath the car at the drive shaft. Now, the drive shaft on these cars have a divide in the middle, and where that divide is a bearing with a bearing housing. The bearing housing deteriorates, the bearing starts to wobble, you get vibrations. Now, I've had a look at that already and I've not firmly crossed it off the list, but it's made me think perhaps it's coming from elsewhere. So I've been around all the suspension components. I've not really seen much. Basically the big block that's at the back of the lower control arm normally is the culprit, and all the ball joints, they seem to be okay too. So the other thing that it could be is warped disc rotors. Now, judging by the size of those things, they're not going to be cheap, but it's very hard to do by the naked eye. So judging by also the wear on that front tyre, perhaps it's just not this corner that might be the trouble. Okay, so time to try and tackle getting that little controller arm out, and or that little link out. Now you can either pop them off their little ball joints, which you run the risk of breaking obviously the other plastic arm that is connected to the actual sensor itself. So I'm going to go for the unscrewing method, which is going to be very time consuming and probably really annoying, so bear with me. It's just a little 10mm nut on each top and bottom, but it's just zero access, so bear with me. Okay, so Triumph. Hopefully, I can't see if that's picking that up on the camera or not, but there it is, that's all it is, and that's what we've got to replace it with. Now, the links themselves just came, I bought them off eBay, and they just came in a pack, all four of them, no inkling as to what to do with them. But now online it did say they recommend just to extend it by 5mm, the little arm, and that should be enough. But I want to go gangster mode, so I'm going to go for double it. Let's just go, well, let's go 8. Let's go in the middle, 8 to be safe. 8mm extension, and hopefully we should get that gangster look. Okay, so I've been inside. I have regulated all my arms to be about 8mm, so a little bit further than recommended. That might be a bad idea, but we'll only find out later. So I'm going to put this arm back and I'm going to keep going. If I come across anything untoward with regards to suspension and perhaps my vibration issues, I'll get back to you. Okay, so that's one down. Now it's not going to regulate itself just yet because remember I've turned that off, so I've got this joyous experience to do 3 more times, and if I come across any issues with the suspension, I'll get back to you. Voila! I've changed all the links on all 4 corners. Actually doing the ones at the back was way easier, much more accessible. Yeah. Unfortunately though, I am kind of none the wiser as to where that perhaps the vibration's coming from. It is a bit of a weird one. It kind of starts at around about 80 kilometers an hour, fades up to 100, and then seems to disappear at 120, and then comes back again around about 130. It's really weird. Anyway, time then to turn the key, and let's see how gangster it's gonna look now. Okay, so I figured here's probably the best place for you to watch from, and I'm gonna jump inside. All I've got to do is just flick the switch to then start the calibration or regulation mode again, and we should see it all just, well, hopefully I haven't extended it too far. It's done now. Time to turn the key and see how it get on. Right, I think that's it. We switched it off. Are we moving anywhere? Pretty pleased. I think that's kind of looked pretty cool. But mind you, that is on its normal setting. So let's just drop it down to the low rider mode. Yeah, that is low now. Gangster. I think that's as low as it can go. Liking it. Yeah, much better. Although it looks perfectly good in normal ride height mode now, I think. Right. Okay, let's run up the road quickly. Definitely sense the drop in height as you're driving. Power. Oh, but Jesus. There doesn't seem to be any rubbing, which is good. The odd vibrations, though, still there. Anyway, time to head home. Because I've got no petrol. This car. It did really well actually. It took it down for a bit of a blast down the country roads, and it definitely felt the lower centre of gravity. Felt definitely a bit more sporty. Question mark still about the vibrations, but definitely the Cayenne Turbo S, very much the same. It's just a little bit more gangster. Which kind of makes me think about the future client for that car. Probably he's going to sell something illegal.